Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to plunge into some really fascinating topics, pull out the key insights, and, cut through the noise so you get properly informed. Today, we're setting off on a journey into some pretty incredible ancient wisdom. Our source material is from Vīsatnipāto. It's this amazing collection of reflections from Buddhist elders, the venerable ones. Okay, so our mission really is to pull out these powerful nuggets of wisdom about, well, human experience itself, how we deal with suffering, the path towards liberation. We're hoping to uncover some surprising things, maybe give you a bit of a shortcut to understanding these pretty profound concepts that have lasted for ages.
Absolutely. And these texts, they really do offer timeless guidance. I mean, for all of us, especially on things like overcoming fear, maybe managing our desires more effectively, and ultimately finding a real sense of peace in our often complicated lives.
All right, so let's kick things off with a story that's, well, it's quite striking. Adhimuto Thero. Picture this. He's facing down a group of pretty fearsome thieves that looks like certain death, but instead of terror, they see something. Well, astonishing. The text actually describes what they saw. It says something like, those we killed before, maybe for sacrifices or for their wealth, they were terrified. But, it goes on, for him there was no fear, rather his composure. It actually brightened. How does that even happen?
Well, the text gives us the foundation for Adhimuto's fearlessness. It lays it out quite clearly. It says, no mental suffering for the unconcerned one, meaning someone who isn't attached, right? All fears are overcome for him whose fetters are destroyed. So it's not just bravery, it's deeper.
Like attachments.
Exactly, those mental chains. The text goes on saying, "Mananme bayan ati barane kapani yata," which translates to something like, there's no fear at death for me. It's like laying down a burden. And this state, it's achieved through a well-practiced holy life. It's about that ultimate letting go.
That idea of letting go, it connects nicely to Theragāthā, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He explores the illusory side of worldly attachments. How did he approach this whole idea of impermanence, especially with something like, our own bodies?
He had quite a critical view, actually. He calls the body an adorned image, which sounds nice.
Yeah.
But then he immediately says it's also a body full of sores, diseased, full of plans, in which there is no permanence. Quite blunt.
Well, yeah.
And this perspective, it really underlines how clinging to things that don't last, wealth, beauty, power, just leads to this endless cycle of craving and suffering, of course.
Yeah.
There's a vivid example in the text about a king.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it says, imagine a king who's conquered the whole earth right up to the ocean shores. Even then, insatiable on this side of the ocean, might still long for the other side. It just never ends.
So desire is inherently insatiable.
That's the core message. The text states it flat out. In the world, there is no satisfaction from sensual pleasures. No real lasting satisfaction anyway. And the conclusion, wisdom is better than wealth, by which one attains the end here. It's the understanding, not the stuff, that brings peace.
So the big insight isn't just don't want stuff. It's understanding that the wanting itself, the craving for more, is what fuels our unhappiness. Tilakani is really pushing us to rethink what enough even means, isn't he? Satisfaction comes from wisdom, not acquisition. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Moving from these external illusions to the inner workings, mind, senses. We meet Parapartyo Thero, and he talks about his own struggle, feeling bound as if by the snare of Mahinda, like the Asura Vipasiti. Sounds like he felt really trapped.
He did. He felt caught, yeah. And he was looking for a physician, someone to remove this arrow of doubt he felt.
And what did he realize through that struggle?
He came to this really profound understanding. The senses of humans lead to benefit and harm. Simple, but powerful. He says, unprotected, they lead to harm. Protected, they lead to benefit.
So it's not the senses themselves that are the problem.
Exactly. It's all about how we engage with them. That's what determines whether we suffer or find liberation, our reaction.
And building right on that, we get Malukipuro Thero, who gives some really practical, detailed guidance on this. He paints this incredibly clear picture of how suffering just snowballs when mindfulness slips. Like when you see something appealing. He describes it, seeing a form if mindfulness is lost. You zone in on the pleasing aspect. With a mind attached, one experiences it and clings to it. And then what happens?
Well, then, many feelings arise, dependent on form, covetousness and vexation. His mind becomes defiled, thus accumulating suffering. Nibbana is far off. It's like a chain reaction, step by step, away from peace.
A clear downward spiral.
But then there's the contrast, the way out. The text says, he does not cling to forms. Seeing a form, mindful, with a detached mind, he experiences it and does not cling to it.
Detached but not disengaged.
Precisely. Mindful. aware, not swept away. And this isn't just for sight, right? This principle applies to all 6 senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, even thoughts, mental stuff. It gives us a really powerful, usable framework for living mindfully. It's about the relationship with the experience.
Exactly. So the key isn't like shutting down your senses. It's cultivating this wise, detached relationship, seeing things clearly without getting hooked.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at how this kind of wisdom played out in people's lives, some really amazing transformations. Let's start with Prince Badillo. I mean, just imagine. Here's a prince who used to live protected by sword wielders, living in fear before.
Even with all that protection, there was fear.
Right, and indulging in fine clothes on elephant neck, delicious rice with choice meat, a height of luxury, you'd think, and perceived security. But now,
Yeah.
as a monk, he's described as a rag robe wearer, delighting in alms gathering. Quite the change.
A total reversal.
Yeah. He's treated a gold's bowl weighing 100 palas, whatever pala is.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot.
It was an ancient unit of weight. Yeah, substantial.
Right, traded that for just a simple clay bowl. But here's the kicker. The text says now he is fearless, having abandoned fear and dread, meditates, having entered the forest.
That shift is just incredible, isn't it? It shows so powerfully that the real freedom, the deep inner peace, comes from inside, not from guards or gold. True fearlessness is internal, finding contentment right where you are, regardless of the outer stuff.
And then we get to Angulimala, maybe the most astonishing transformation of the lot. This guy was, as the text says, formerly a robber, known as Angulimala, carried away by a great flood of, presumably his own violence. His name literally meant finger garland from his victim.
It's a truly feared figure. But there's this pivotal exchange with the Buddha. Angulimala tells the Buddha to stand still, and the Buddha replies but redefines the whole idea.
What do you say?
The Buddha says something like, I am always standing still, Angulimala, because I've laid aside violence towards all beings. But you, he says to Angulimala, you are unrestrained toward living beings. Therefore, I am standing still, you are not.
Wow. That's powerful. Standing still means nonviolence.
Exactly. And that simple, profound teaching just completely turns Angulimala around. He changes his name, his whole nature. He later declares, my name is harmless, though I was formerly a killer. Today I am truly named, I harm no one. From Angulimala, the killer, to Ahimsaka, the harmless one.
And what's really striking, I think, is the hope this offers, for anyone weighed down by their past. The text says, he who was formerly heedless but later becomes heedful illuminates this world like the moon freed from clouds.
Beautiful image.
It is. It's not about pretending the past didn't happen, but about the incredible power of change right now, no matter what came before. Okay, let's shift now to Aniruddha Thero, a monk known for extraordinary insight, real attainment. And interestingly, despite a past that included indulgence, the text mentions him being associated with dancing and singing, awakened by clappers, maybe a life of entertainment.
A life quite different from his later path.
Right. He achieved these really profound spiritual goals. He got the 3 knowledges.
Which traditionally refers to knowing past lives, seeing beings' rebirths, and ending mental defilements, major attainments.
And his divine eye became purified, meaning he had this heightened clairvoyance. He could recall past lives, see rebirths. He even remembered being a universal monarch who ruled justly without rod or sword.
These kinds of attainments, they really signify the culmination of the path, the full realization ending suffering completely. The text describes this ultimate state. No breathing for one whose mind is firm, like a deep meditative state. Fearless, taking peace as his object, the enlightened one passed into Nibbana, complete liberation.
But then, and this is really interesting, we get a kind of counterpoint from Pario Thero again, but later on. It's almost a lament, isn't it, about what he saw as a decline in the purity of the Sangha, the monastic community.
Yes, a later reflection. He observes quite starkly. The conduct of monks was different when the world's protector, the Buddha, was living. Now it appears different.
A sense of things having changed, maybe not for the better. What specific shifts did he point out?
He describes a definite shift in attitude and behavior. He remembers the early monks being content with just the basics. They ate only what was sufficient, content with whatever was at hand, seeking solitude. Simple life.
Okay.
But later monks, he says, started seeking material gain, got involved in worldly crafts, became argumentative. He even mentions them quarreling over the Sangha's gain, being excluded from the Sangha, subsisting on others' gains, being shameless, not embarrassed. It's quite a critique.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh.
He even uses this chilling phrase, saying they play with fools as if by demons gone mad. It really shows his concern about how worldly pressures could erode that inner virtue, even among monks.
So the bigger picture here, the implication, it's that maintaining that pure selfless path is a constant challenge, right? Even for people deeply committed to it.
Absolutely an enduring challenge.
And Parapario's advice, then, is to walk carefully. He uses this metaphor. As one would walk without shoes in a thorny place, having established mindfulness.
A perfect image for navigating life's difficulties with awareness.
Yeah. Be mindful. Watch your step. It's a powerful way to think about moving through a world full of potential traps, isn't it? You know, these insights from so long ago, distilled from the real lives of these elders. They feel incredibly relevant today, especially with all the complexity, the information overload we face. They offer kind of blueprint for finding stability.
I agree. The core message doesn't really age, does it? True freedom, real peace. It's not about fixing the external world, but about cultivating that inner wisdom, that mindful way of engaging with whatever comes up. Which really raises a question for you listening right now. How do you take these ideas and apply them in your own life, day to day?
And on that note, maybe we can leave you with a final thought for your own deep dive. A question to ponder. What thorny paths are you navigating right now in your own life? In thinking about Ogalimalo and the Buddha, what unrestrained habits or attachments might be stopping you from truly standing still? How can you use the wisdom of these elders, Atimudo, Telakani, Parapario, and the others, to find your own version of fearlessness and peace?